All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back, and thank you for joining Finding Your Purpose with HII. Please remember, as always, like, share, follow us on X, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Today, we're going to be talking about Global Day of Caring. And in order to do that, I have two guests with me. Miranda Williams, she's the Manager of Organizational Development. And I have Anthony Navarrete, who's a Program Manager. Do you mind just take a second, Miranda and Anthony, to tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do here?
Absolutely. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you all for inviting us. I am Miranda Williams. Technically, my title is Manager of Organizational Development 2. I oversee our foundation's New Leader Experience curriculum, which is our leadership development program for new managers and newly hired, shall I say, newly promoted managers, as well as overseeing our Clifton Strengths coaches and that, center of practice there. Community engagement is another area that I support here at Mission Technologies, as well as some other key areas that fall under there as well.
Okay, Anthony, could you give us a rundown?
Yeah, for sure. And I already feel inadequate with all the things that Miranda does compared to what I do. You have many hats, Miranda.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Anthony Navarrete, I'm a program manager for all domain operations, just overseeing several contracts that I have that focus around value engineering, aircraft engineering, and I just love the people aspect. I have the pleasure of having two senior managers that work underneath me, but underneath those folks are just a fabulous team of individuals that contribute to Army aviation in general.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for being here. Miranda, I'm just going to start off with a question for you. This is the 6th year of Global Day of Caring, so that's impressive. How has the event evolved since it began, and what makes this year so special?
Oh, wow. So we actually kicked off back in, what was it, Anthony? 2019, years ago. It feels so long ago, 2019. I think what started, it's important to understand that Global Day of Caring, we launched it not long after our division was formed. And if you consider all of these 6 or 7 legacy organizations being brought together under one umbrella, and we thought, what's one way to bring everyone together rather quickly, bring everyone together, unite them under a common banner, a common cause, and give them an opportunity to get to know each other while working towards, that greater good and that greater benefit. And Global Day of Caring was born out of that. I think Anthony and his team were one of the first teams to sign up and volunteer. So what began as like a handful of, projects and maybe 3 or 4 states has grown, to hundreds of volunteers across. Last year we had 50 projects, 45, team captains, and, events taking place in 16 states, DC and, Korea. So this year we're looking, just to spread that impact. The need is greater, and we're looking to come together and meet that need this year. So I think that is what makes it that much better, and what's really makes it that much better. I won't say that much better, but that much more important and impactful this year is that we're finding, as we're coming together to plan Global Day of Caring and execute, it's really happening at a pivotal time where there's an even greater need, and we anticipate that need to increase. So many of our projects are geared towards that.
Exactly. So let's talk about what impacts have you seen the volunteer efforts have on our communities and our employees.
Well, I definitely, and Anthony can share some of this, as well, because he's deeply involved in the community, but our projects span the range. And keep in mind, Global Day of Caring, while this takes place annually, the first weekend of November, we have employees who are volunteering throughout the year, right? So they're head in the ring for Global Day of Caring, but they're taking those actions and they're continuing them throughout the year. So that's one impact that we've seen, is that this isn't a one and done. Very often our employees are re-engaging with these organizations and with their clients. We've seen everything from foster children, our teams coming in to build beds for foster children, no experience, willing to roll up their sleeves and go in and build beds, to building accessibility ramps, at homes and partnering with the United Way, going in and, doing something small that we feel like, oh, this is something small. We'll do an arts and crafts day for the children at a shelter so that mom and dad can, handle business and go out and or maybe even just have an hour to themselves. So there are big and small. We even have employees who run food banks. We have employees who have their own organizations, and people will go out and volunteer on the weekends. I mean, Anthony, I won't take all the credit. You go ahead and share some of what you know, but it's really, whether it's financial, whether it's giving their time, whether it is, driving seniors to and from their appointments or providing meals, our employees are stepping in and, they know better than anyone what the need is in their community. So I think that's been the greatest impact, is being able to impact so many communities in different ways. But I'll hand it over to Anthony. I don't want to take all the spotlight here.
Well, there's so much goodness there. When people volunteer, you within yourself, you get that joy that you're giving back. You're either your time, your resources, your energy. You're giving back to a community that needs it. And so that makes you feel good. But within doing that as well, depending on how you structure it, and we can talk about this later, but you really start to foster teamwork within the people that are participating there that you normally would not have captured in the workplace. Because sometimes, I'll speak from experience from my teams. A lot of times my teams are working in silos. They're working in cubicles. They're working on their own projects, doing their own things. And there's not a lot of interaction at times, maybe with some of their coworkers. And going out into the community and helping a group of either people or organization that could use the help and pulling them together to do that, pulling our team together to do that, is very special.
That is awesome to hear. It's also good to hear perspective, right? So we know the impact on the community. That's our goal here, is to impact the community. But then Anthony, what you said about impacting our own departments, right? Bringing us together as a team, really symbiotic. I like that.
Yeah.
So how do you guys choose which community partners to work with, and what makes the partnership successful?
So for me, it's a little bit easy, because I can't be everywhere. I'm in Virginia. I can't be in Corpus Christi or, Pocasset or, Hawaii. I'd love to be in Hawaii, all of these different places. So we really rely on our employees to let us know what the need is in their local community. Very often, these are organizations that our team members are already partnering with. And so it's rather quickly they can say, hey, here's an organization, here's the need, here's how it aligns with HII's values, right? Because certainly we want to make sure that the organizations that we're partnering with and that we're supporting align with our company values and our mission as well. And that's relatively easy to identify those organizations. I think the hard part is just really spreading the word and letting our employees know that this is happening. And, we're looking for you all to submit those ideas and let us know where the need is and how we can help. And then we come together to really spread the word and get those, once they're approved, get those activities posted and helping to recruit volunteers to support those events. So it's really boiling down to what aligns with our values, tapping into our employees. And then as one of the things that we're doing this year, this is what makes this year a little bit different, is that explaining and sharing with others how volunteering is an opportunity to develop to develop and hone those leadership capabilities and those skills. So whereas, like Anthony mentioned, the one gentleman felt like, oh, I'm going to build a flower bed. Well, if you're leading that project, if you're leading that, and coordinating that event, there's so much that you're building, communication skills, you're working with different stakeholders at different levels whether it's your community partner, your volunteers, or even leaders in the organization that you're inviting to participate. So there is a lot, that goes into that. There's so many benefits from getting involved in an initiative like this.
Well, I can feel your guys' energy, and I love it so much. So in keeping in your energy in that spirit, how do you keep the spirit of Global Day of Caring alive throughout the year?
I think it's you don't do everything at once, right? So I have the luxury of having 45 direct reports for me, but 45 people that work within my programs. So we're probably only recognizing maybe a tenth of them every year, doing 4 or 5 projects throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So you just get other people involved, just keep it going, and you continuously grow and learn more about people. Yeah, you'll have some things that, hey, this is something we want to do every year, and you'll do that. But keeping that energy going by recognizing new people and getting behind the initiatives that they're excited about is, for me, how we keep it going. Is just something new every year, doing something new every year, trying something different. So getting in uncomfortable situations, but that help you grow. That kind of action is something that really keeps us fresh throughout the year.
So Anthony, real quick,
yeah.
I heard how you talk about getting others to step up in a leadership position, but what keeps you coming back, leading these programs for 6 years now? What brings you back to leading?
I think it's just, for me, it's the opportunity of working with other people. I mean, that's the joy of it. There's that intrinsic joy that I spoke of before, of just knowing that you're giving back to an organization. Something that you didn't have to do, but you chose to do because you knew it's going to benefit somebody. That energy keeps me back, but also it's so much more. I don't know the right word for this. It's just so much more enjoyable to do it with other people.
So we'll shift gears just a little bit, talking about organizational development, strategy, culture, leadership. Miranda, I know you're now leading the Foundation's New Leader Experience. Can you tell us more about Foundations, and what do you think new leaders need most in today's workplace?
I think our Foundation's New Leader Experience is, a new curriculum that we rolled out last year. Thankful for our team, Keyshawn Graham led the development of our Foundation's New Leader Experience curriculum. And this is, leadership development for newly hired managers, newly promoted managers to come into the organization. You get to participate in some interactive classes as well as, some online courses as well. But it's really a highly interactive, curriculum that's designed to equip our managers with the tools and resources that they're going to need to lead, under this workforce. So these are everything from, the HR standards, ethics and business conduct, but also how to manage and develop your team, right? How to lead inclusively, how to, discussing everything from effective communications to modeling positive behaviors and so much more. But we also, as a part of this curriculum, our leaders also get introduced to the Clifton Strengths Framework. For many of these leaders, it's the first time that they're, learning about Clifton Strengths, or even learning how to articulate and learning what their talents are. This is a really dynamic program that we just rolled out, but it's continuing to grow in impact, continuing to grow in participation, but also evolving as we're looking into ways to continue to add new courses and evolve our current existing courses as well.
Great. And Anthony, as a seasoned leader, what do you feel, or what do you think new leaders need most in today's workplace?
New leaders right now, I feel, I think earning the trust of their team is probably one of the foundational things that they need to work on. That's something that I know if I had a brand new manager roll in, I would really want to establish that trust with them. And I would hope that they would want to model that down to who they are leading as well. But there's so many different ways to build trust. It's not just something that happens day one. So getting in that rhythm, transparent communications, solid communications, there's a lot of goodness that Miranda's the leadership capability framework that Miranda's leading right now. There's a lot of that built into it of how you can build that regular trust with your team. So to me, that's the most important one right now.
Miranda, you talked about Clifton's strengths. How does that impact the way teams work together?
Well, Clifton Strengths is an amazing tool and resource. I always say the assessment itself is the tool, right? And then there's what you do after that and how you develop. Strengths gives us a language for how to articulate what our talents are, what it is that we do best, right? What's the behavior behind our hows and whys and why we, are able to achieve in the way that we are. Strengths gives us that language. It also helps us all to see each other as individuals, whereas my talents and my core strengths may differ will differ from yours, Elizabeth, and from Anthony's. Whereas I may lead with strategy and ideation and futuristic. Someone else may lead with, they may be analytical, so they may need time to ask those questions, right? And so knowing my strengths and then being aware of what my team members' strengths are, beyond the language, it helps me to better understand what it is that you bring, what your power is, right? But also, what do you need from me? Where can I support you, right? What are those areas where I can bring my talents to support you? Where are those areas where I need support and I can communicate to you like, hey, I can help you here. Here are some areas where, I need a little help. So I think it helps to make the team environment that much better. It helps to foster a more psychologically safe environment in how we apply it, right? Depending on how we apply it. It can create a more psychologically safe environment. It can induce more belonging. Because if you can see me for who I am and what I bring, and that strategy, input, ideation, futuristic, all of these things, right? And I'm able to apply them to the role that I'm doing, then, for me, I'm going to get more energy out of what I'm bringing. And then also my team members, I'm going to be able to contribute more positively to the team. So strengths is just amazing all around. I can talk about Clifton Strengths all day long. I get energy.
Can I show you something, Miranda? You're going to be.
Go ahead.
Ready? Look at me.
Oh, I remember our little frame.
They sit on my desk so I always remember.
That's what it's for. That is what it's for. Like, share your strengths. If you've ever gone through and done your strengths assessment, print your top 5 out. Put it in your email. Let people know these are my strengths. This is what I bring. But with everything that we bring, there are also opportunities where we need support. So it just provides clarity, gives us clarity. It gives us some direction, right? And it's sort of like a map that, helps us better understand what we do well.
Yeah, and it helps us and it helps the people around us, right? So it's just really good all around. Last question. Go ahead.
Can I add to that?
Please.
So as somebody that's been through Clifton Strengths, or I'm not a strengths coach by any means, but I would love to be. But I have my top 5 pulled up, and I have them, and I've even advocated for all my managers. They've all taken it. And I think one thing that we could do better, and this is self-critical as well, I'm trying to do better in this, is use our HR business partners a lot of them are Clifton Strengths Coach, for us managers to use our HR business partners to help coach us. Because this is, once again, self-critical. I know my 5. I know my managers know our 5. But can we start getting more into how we can become better and a more effective team? That's the whole reason why we did them. We just haven't done enough yet to really integrate the top 5s together to figure out how we can lean on each other better. But if anything, like one of the things that Miranda pointed out, if anything that the Clifton 5 strengths have done for us right now, the top 5 that we did, is actually allow us to show more compassion towards each other, because some of the things we see as maybe flaws or pet peeves, you realize in the top 5, they're like, oh, that's kind of how they're wired.
Exactly.
Being jerks. Exactly. They're not being jerks. That's just how they're wired. And then you start to have more compassion for each other when I'm having a nervous breakdown because you haven't given me my deliverable. You realize I sort of need it because I'm an achiever. I need to check it off my box.
Yeah, that's the achiever responsibility.
Yeah. But, at the same time, it allows me as an achiever to go, hey, wait a minute. One of my blind spots is thinking that everyone works to the same level that I do. Mm-hmm. So that allows me now as a leader to go, okay, hold on. Just because they're working at maybe what I consider a slower pace doesn't mean they're less effective, efficient, or capable. It just means they work at a different pace than I do. So that's okay. So, oh man, there's so much goodness from Clifton strengths, but it's been a joy, and I look forward to learning more how to utilize those as a PM.
Thank you both. Anthony, Miranda, I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. We're going to wrap up the Global Day of Caring, Community Impact and Leadership discussion. I really appreciate everybody being here with us today. And again, if you're looking to do Global Day of Caring, you heard Miranda, reach out to her directly. Thank you, everybody.